Take me out to the ball game.
And now, Twitch It Dolphin Media presents The Joys of Mudville, a look at the current state of baseball. Now here are your hosts, Scott McIntyre, Andy Tom Chesson, and James Christopher.
And we are back here on The Joys of Mudville, and now that college baseball season is over, we can fully oh, it's not over yet. Congratulations. Yeah, so
still 4 teams.
Still 4 teams left. Andy and Scott, congrats on winning the first elimination game. Andy, we'll go to you first. How are you feeling now? You have to have to beat Oklahoma twice.
I mean, I would love to sit here and say I've got some confidence about that we're going to go ahead and beat Oklahoma 2 times. Oklahoma is a really, really hot team, and we really, really don't have a lot of pitching depth. Nathan Detmer's performance yesterday, going 6, allowing 1 run, and no runs and 3 hits, was kind of a miracle considering his first appearance in the World Series on Friday. It was great. It was a great comeback story for him. I think we will hit with Oklahoma. I don't know that our pitching can keep up with them, especially for 2 days in a row. So maybe we pull out today. Tomorrow would be tough, but we're in it. We got a chance. I'll be watching until I have to reset the television when we get behind, because that's what I do. Part of the ritual. But realistically, we're playing with house money. This is Slosh's first year. He assembled this team almost entirely through the transfer portal and 6 or 7 holdovers from Rob Childress's last team that did not make even the SEC tournament. So he has literally had the best season in A&M baseball history with baling wire and duct tape. I'm excited for the future. I'm excited for what he can do. And hey, we're not done yet. Maybe we pull one out today and then it's anybody's ball game tomorrow. But I'm happy with whatever the outcome's going to be, because we're in the house money phase of the season right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and you're right. Oklahoma's going to be tough. Scott, how are you feeling about Auburn?
I felt like we whipped Auburn's ass last night. How do I feel about Ole Miss? However,
Ole Miss
is a little bit of we'll see. Now, Ole Miss. So, Arkansas was picked number 1 in the SEC West. Ole Miss was picked number 2 at the beginning of the year. I realize that doesn't mean a lot because A&M. Oh, excuse me. Yeah. A&M and Auburn were picked 6th and 7th in there. So, and they all wound up in the College World Series. Ole Miss is talented. Ole Miss is very talented. Arkansas has had some gutsy pitching performances, and it was a weird wind when Ole Miss just absolutely throttled us a few nights ago. But we have some good left-handed pitching, young but good left-handed pitching, and if we can throw strikes, we're going to hang in there with Ole Miss. And like Andy said, if we can force that extra game, then all bets are off. So I feel good. We have a team that has bounced back throughout the year. If we don't make it, there's no shame in being one of the final 4 teams left.
I will also add that there is a world where come Saturday, A&M's playing Arkansas for the College World Series.
In a world.
In which case, there may be more cock on the line. I'm just saying.
I, for one, hope.
Still not eating. I'm waiting.
Don't give me a reason to hope that doesn't happen.
Hey, let me tell you, this is a Caribbean favorite from what I've seen. It's and I am I will. It's good till July. So I mean, we got time. Yeah.
Throw that over some
plenty
rice,
of time to eat.
Maybe a little chicken with it.
Oh, it sounds amazing. Yeah, it sounds perfect. Good spicy cock. I mean, it sounds great.
What has shocked you then about the tournament and how it's shaped up? Scott, you will go with you first. Like, just what has sort of been the big surprise this year for you?
As far as the College World Series itself, the fact that nobody can play a game that's close. I mean, the most interesting game was a 5-1 win with A&M and Notre Dame, where Notre Dame had a couple of runners on base in the 8th. That's the most interest. I've heard people griping about the broadcasting team for ESPN, who's up there, Peterson, Ravitch, and Perez. But let's cut them a break. I mean, when you're watching 10-run games after 10-run games, yeah, it's time to start talking about the little old lady in right field wearing the sombrero, because I'm bored out of my skull at that point. I've seen, a lot of teams like, well, they're not giving our team credit. Well, no, but they're trying to keep themselves awake and not become comatose, and showing that dude Tim last night in the Arkansas Auburn game that had shaved his chest hair to look like a bikini. He probably got 15 minutes of airtime, right? Because it was a 9-1 game at the time. What else are we going to do? That's the most interesting thing. So that's been the biggest shock to me, is that we haven't seen any competitive ball games. There's tons of offense right now. You expect that, especially as the pitching gets tired, the pitching gets farther into the rotation, like what farther into the bullpen, like what Andy's talking about. But yeah, I just want to see a close game. I want to see Arkansas win a close game, but yeah, I'm waiting for the competitiveness.
So you don't care if it's 3-1 or 12-9. You want to see something that's not in doubt until the ninth inning.
Yeah, if it's, in all honesty, I mean, seriously, if it's Oklahoma and Notre Dame playing each other and I'm watching it and it's 12-4, the Stanley Cup Finals on too. I'll go watch that. I mean, seriously, and I think that's probably hurting ESPN a little bit, because they have dedicated so much airtime to the broadcast this year, and the product that they're being able to show, just the teams somebody's blowing each other out.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're exactly right. They've all felt very, very not in doubt. Andy, what about you? What surprised you?
It's just more of a reminder of how baseball, especially in a tournament atmosphere, works, is this concept of momentum. And I think you saw it yesterday with Notre Dame. Notre Dame had all the momentum going into their loss against Oklahoma 2 nights ago. And once they lost that game, you could tell yesterday the wind was out of their sails, and the hits they were picking up, the seeing eye ground balls, the Texas leaguers, the bloopers, they weren't falling in anymore. And it just kind of builds on each other. And I think that's contributed to some of the lopsided things, is that there have been teams coming into this tournament on huge hot streaks, and baseball is a really fickle mistress. And once that momentum goes away, unless you are uber talented, like the Tennessee team that didn't even make this tournament, it's hard to come back from that if you are a kind of a one-dimensional or even a two-dimensional team needing to play 3 dimensions of a game. I will say yesterday's game was too close for my taste, between A&M and Notre Dame, because as I was telling Jim, we're about to blow this. We give up a home run in the 8th inning and then get 2 runners on with nobody out. And I have this weird thing about 5 runs being a comfortable lead for me. 4 runs is not comfortable, because 5 runs means you can't change the game in one swing of the bat. 4 runs, you absolutely can hit a grand slam and tie up a ball game. And I've seen it happen. I felt it happen. It's not great if you're on the receiving end on it. It's fantastic if you're on the other end of it. So I would have loved A&M to score double digits yesterday, but maybe that means we won't suffer the Astros curse today and be shut out.
Yeah, which, is going to happen.
Astros scored 8 runs last night, and it's a day game today. We're not scoring.
Not scoring anything. Yeah, Dusty's going to let Siri bat 4 times in the lineup just to upset everybody. So I guess predictions. I mean, do you guys feel comfortable making predictions when it comes to your squad, or do you? Let's do this, Andy. You predict the Arkansas Ole Miss series. Who's coming out of that?
I think Arkansas wins today, but I think Ole Miss advances to the final series.
Scott, what about you on A&M and OU?
I think A&M's worn out their pitching, and I think OU is a team that came into the tournament extremely hot. I wouldn't be shocked if A&M pulls it off, but I don't see it. However, I would say that Schlossnagle is clearly coach of the year, national coach of the year, without a doubt.
I just want to score some runs on whoever 99 is for Oklahoma, because he is a smug-looking, oaky, baby, weird-faced, pasty-faced, horrible person who pitches incredibly. I hate him.
I am going to tell Andy, though, I do believe if Arkansas wins this game, they're going to win the next one.
All right.
I think today makes the difference. I could be dead wrong. What I think really.
Ole Miss is weird, because Ole Miss is absolutely one of those teams that is really, really hot right now, but they also can drop a series pretty easily.
Ole Miss has some extremely talented hitters too. Tim Elko is one of the biggest he's got one of the best swings, biggest power stroke that you'll see in college baseball.
I am sad that Sonny D is out of the tournament, so I'm a little bit irritated with your team for that. Because I like big fat guys hitting baseballs.
Yeah, well, he didn't do a lot of that last night, or they'd still be.
Yeah. Well, let's move along then.
There was 2-for-1 at the Sonic, so he had to.
I just can't believe I'm living in a world where it's going to be A&M or OU.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, if you're I mean, that's really seriously like you forgot to wear a cup and somebody's just kicking you, right? I mean, seriously, that one's you get yeah. As a Texas fan, in all honesty, to put myself in Jim's shoes for a minute, watching my team drop a couple, right, and argue without a doubt the best player in college baseball this year just kind of didn't show up.
Well, I'm used to that as an Astros fan.
Yeah. And then you're watching OU and A&M pull off what they pull off, knowing that one of them's going to make it to Omaha, which apparently, according to Carl Ravitch, there's a bridge between Nebraska and Iowa. And if you slept in the right spot, you could fall asleep in 2 states at the same time. Just like you could in basically every other state.
I will correct you on one thing. I will not be watching.
Bridge between
yeah.
Why would there need to be a bridge? It's all flat land.
There's like a creek or something, the hill.
Is it dried up because of the drought?
Yeah, that's got to be it. Yeah. I don't know. But these are the things you find out about when the game's freaking 9-1.
Well, let's move on then to Major League Baseball. We had an incident in Minute Maid Park actually the other night where JJ Matichevich. Do I have to learn his name, Andy, or will he be around for very long?
I mean, he may be playing first base next year, so
learn his name. Okay,
I'd work on it.
Okay, hits his first home run. Yours. Yeah, right. Hits his first home run. Gets the kid who wins it or catches it basically makes a deal with Major League with the Astros to get some stuff. Unfortunately, none of those things he got was a haircut, but that's a whole other conversation. So, Scott, I turn to you. What would you want if you got a ball and it was a home run ball that was someone's first hit and you wanted to get the ball back to the player? What would Scott McIntyre need to make that deal?
Whatever they were willing to give me. Seriously. I mean, that's one more home run than I ever hit. Guy wants his ball back. Here's your ball back. And then I'm going to trust them that they're going to do me right. And if they don't, well, then my allegiance will go to somebody else and I'll whine about it on Good Morning America or something. And they did me wrong and get my 15 minutes of fame like certain Twitter people like to do by acting badly. So that's kind of what I would do too.
What about you, Andy?
First of all, to your haircut comment, the Brian Bosworth look wasn't cool in 1984. And I don't know why teenagers today are trying to bring it back. But
everything from the 80s. Okay, but sorry, but I saw more lime green outfits and hot pink. I'm like, good God, what is this? 1985? Are we feeling rad and tubular suddenly? Anyway, the hair too. Anyway, go ahead.
This kid had the full-on blonde, straight mullets, shaved on the sides, and also had the eye dilution sunglasses. Well, it looks like he got his eyes dilated, but they were worn on his neck at one point and then on his head. I mean, just the whole thing. And he's a baseball player, so that's what they're doing now. For me, I just asked for more tickets, and I probably would have been fine with their first offer. And it benefits them because I was at the Astros game last night, and I had no reason to because I don't need more Astros merch, but I was with my wife and my daughter, and we easily dropped $200 at the team store for both of them to gear up. It benefits a team to give me tickets because whatever I'm getting from the ticket, I'm probably spending 2 or 3 times that inside the stadium. And I'm blessed to be able to do that, and I'm glad for it. But I'm not going to hold up a team for a Verlander signed jersey. And I get that my perspective is different as a 50-year-old than it would be as a 16-year-old. But autographs don't do anything for me. I'm not going to hold up a kid from getting his first ball, and of course he would get it back. And if they offered me tickets to the next game, fantastic. That'd be enough. Yeah. Maybe not in the outfield. Maybe a little
good
bit close.
good seats. You want good seats.
Right.
I would definitely say that. Yeah, I mean, you can get a tank of gas or a couple of beers at the ball game. You know,
Hey, a gas card would be really nice, actually.
For real. Yeah. We just saw that. I guess they're proposing a 3-month gas tax holiday, which should, I guess, lower the price per gallon by $1, but we'll see if that happens. One of the two big dramas, and I think that's going to pretty much wrap us up for this episode, but I want to talk about the sort of impending free agency. Aaron Judge absolutely bet on himself and is having he's probably having the best season of anybody I've ever seen. That's like, I'm betting on myself and here we go. Andy, is he a Yankee next year?
Yeah, they can't afford for him not to be. And I don't mean financially. He's going to cost whatever he costs, but from a goodwill standpoint, from a keeping the fans happy standpoint, the Yankees are a unique team that they not only need to win, but they need to feel that they have stars. And some of that they invent on their own. They tried to pretend Joey Gallo is a star every now and then. They tried to pretend that it was a shrewd move to get Rougned Odor last year, which I think he continued to hit 110 or something when he was there. But Judge is an out-and-out face of the MLB type player. Whether he should be or not, that's kind of a different story, because it probably still should be Trout or Ohtani, but he's the guy that the Yankees can't afford to let walk away. The interesting thing will be what happens when he wants 7 years or more, because he's 31 this year, I believe. So that's his age 38 season. And unless you're Nelson Cruz, you don't really keep hitting home runs at 38 years old. Not without assistance, the cream and the clear.
Scott, what about you?
Somebody's going to have to outbid the Yankees, and that's really, really, really hard to do. I can see the Red Sox that just say, you know what?
I could see the Mets. Imagine what a coup it is if the Mets can take Aaron Judge, and they're spending money like it's going out of style.
Well, and it's something also that factors in is, you know, as the age kicks in. Now you have the DH in the National League too. So National League teams who in the past wouldn't have been so eager to get a guy as he progresses in age and can't play the field as well. Now they don't have to worry about that so much because they can just put a bat in his hand and tell him you don't have to bring your glove to the park anymore. I do think that whoever does it is going to have to go all in. I think the Mets would be a gigantic coup, but I don't see the Mets outspending the Yankees. There's only 2 teams that I see that could outspend the Yankees, and it's the Dodgers. And I don't think they need Aaron Judge at this time. I'm not sure, there's not a ballpark that Aaron Judge doesn't fit in, but I'm not sure that Chavez Ravine is the best one. But the thought of Aaron Judge playing Pepper with the Green Monster in Fenway, if Boston wanted to go out and say, you know what, they've stolen Boggs from us, they took Johnny Damon from us, they historically they've taken a lot of they took Babe Ruth from us. Let's see what we can do to them. And if the Boston Red Sox decide, we're going to pay you obscene money to put on this jersey, and whatever the Yankees offer you, we'll give you 10% more. Money talks. It could that could get interesting, but whoever does is going to have to see what the Yankees offer is and be willing to go above it. Yeah. And that's hard. That's hard for anybody to do.
The Red Sox would be interesting just from you've got the Green Monster, but you also have Pesky's pole. And I think Judge would very quickly learn how to just throw balls into the outfield. I mean,
look at with his wrist.
Lance Berkman used to do that for the Astros when he was hitting left-handed. He could just poke the ball into the Crawford boxes 330 feet away, but at a certain elevation.
Well, Big Papi did it in Boston. Playing Pepper off that left ball.
You very easily can train yourself to just, I'm going to hook that around that pole. And also, to your point, Fenway is playing right field in Fenway is kind of like being a DH anyway. There's not a whole lot of ground to cover.
Right.
No, there's really not.
But I think the Red Sox would be difficult. It would be difficult because they're probably not going to sign Bogarts, which Trevor Story's the backup for that plan. And they couldn't hold on to Mookie Betts because they didn't want to spend the money. So it'd be interesting to see that they went all in for Aaron Judge. I still think the Yankees are ultimately the team to beat with all that.
I do think it's safe to say that Aaron Judge will not be in a Pittsburgh Pirate uniform next year.
I think you're probably right on that. You could probably bet the house on that one. All right, Scott, we'll go with you first. Then we're 16 months away from Shohei Ohtani being a free agent, and there's been, he had the comment in a press conference in the offseason last year that he just wants to win. He's not doing that in Anaheim. Is Shohei Ohtani an Angel in 16 months?
No, but I think he'll probably still be playing in LA. You got guys that are getting older with the Dodgers, and and here's this guy that's already drawing in this town for little brother. Big brother's going to make the call up from quadruple A to the major leagues, because honestly, that's how the Dodgers look at the Angels, and they should compared to for all the championships that have been won. I think you see him in a I think you see him probably in a Dodgers uniform, if not, then some team that's not with it right now, that is making a commitment to make a big run and win. Seattle, which we've seen with Ichiro, can have a gigantic drawing for players that were born somewhere in Asia. I don't see him going to the East Coast, but I think LA winds up being the most logical place.
Andy?
Well, Scott just kind of stole my thunder, because I think there's a situation in 16 months that's going to line up perfectly for Shohei. And I think with Ichiro Suzuki promoting them, Seattle has a history of supporting Japanese players well. They're close to home as you can get from a standpoint of playing in the major leagues. And they're a team that's going to be, if not still on the upswing in 16 months, there. They've got a lot of pieces that they can put together. And I think he's going to be one of those guys that if they throw enough money at him, he would be the difference between a wild card and a division, and more than that. And Seattle is desperate for a winner in baseball. So that would be, he's a guy that could take a good team to the World Series. He can't take a bad team to the playoffs, evidently, although I guess this season's still not over. But that's kind of where I see. The other place potentially would be San Francisco. Which I think is a team that can win, has proven they can win, and I think would know how to use him and market him well. I can't see him being a Yankee. The Red Sox don't make any sense. And, the other teams that would spend money like that, Houston's not going to sign him. So you've got a pretty limited audience when you're talking about who can spend money. I don't see him being a Cub or a White Sox. So I think it's a West Coast team, but my money's kind of on Seattle at this point.
I could potentially see one of the Chicago teams jumping in there. I potentially. I don't think it's a natural fit, and I think they just have to absolutely want this guy and really seriously outbid the West Coast teams.
I do wonder how much the Japanese players talk to one another, because Darvish did not have a good time in Chicago. And I'm just wondering, does that matter?
If it's like the Cuban players, they talk.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons the Astros have been able to sign so many Cuban minor leaguers, is because Yuli Gurriel, they're saying, hey, this is a good organization, come play with me. And he's insanely popular amongst the Cuban players. I wonder with the Japanese players if that matters as much.
So does that happen with the Cardinals too, where underperforming white guys talk to each other and they all decide to come to the Cardinals? I'm just saying that.
I don't know the answer to that question. That does wrap up this episode, though. I want to do a hearty good luck to you guys, Gig'em and Woo Pig Suey. And hopefully we'll be talking about one of you guys playing for a national championship next episode.
It's a shame.